All right, what's going on, everyone? Today we're going to be doing something a little bit special. It's not going to be super gameplay oriented. We're going to be talking about all the new decks for the tanks. I'm just going to go through each tank, theorycraft maybe one or two decks that I think are good for the patch that I'm going to be trying to run in videos. I just recorded like 4 games of casuals. All of them were not really usable. I don't think they were really like good games for you guys to watch. They're all either stomps or just not very entertaining games. So I've decided that I'm going to go through all of the front lines right now. I'm just going to make a deck or two for each of them. Say what talents I think are gonna be good for them. Just a little bit theory crafting and thoughts on the whole front line as a class in general. Just going to be looking at them in general and just seeing what kind of deck changes are happening because a lot of the decks are actually changing. I need to
Do
like
not
clear pretty much
fail.
most of my decks. So let's go ahead and just dive right into this. Before I get started, though, I do want to say, if you guys want to hang out with me or know when I'm gonna start streaming pretty soon. So if you want to know when that happens, you should join my Discord. You can interact with me, talk about Paladins. I post pretty much. I ping everyone whenever I post a video. I'm gonna start pinging everyone whenever I start streaming. It's a good way to interact with the community. So feel free to join. The description is down below, and I'll also put it in the comment sections for you guys. These are, of course, very, 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 very theory crafted decks. Some of them I probably haven't used. The only time I really played on this patch is PTS and the games that I just recorded now. But let's hurry up and get into the video before I talk too much and ramble about random stuff. So let's start with Ruckus. I guess Ruckus is the first frontline. This isn't by mastery level. Let's do name. Okay, Ash. Ash. Let me just delete some of these decks really fast. So those are the 2 default decks. I'm assuming this one's for shield and this one is for select shot, etc, whatever. Battering ram. I actually, if you were gonna run battering ram, let's say like battering ram is your only option. It's the only talent you have, and you were going to run it. I do think you run Indomitable at 5 points. I think the lifesteal is good. I think since your battering ram is gonna be up less, I think Vanguard's actually worse of a card. So is Gatecrasher. I would suggest probably upping your HP as much as possible. Put like 4 points into it. This card is worse, but I think you can still put a few points into it. I don't know how many points you want to though, just because the card's a lot worse. Uh, at max points last time, this would give you 6 seconds, and now it's only 4 seconds, so that's 2 seconds off. That's not terrible. Let's see. Let me look at our cooldowns really fast. So yeah, it would be a 10-second shoulder bash, which is basically around the same cooldown that you had last time. So that's actually not too bad. It just seems like you're allowed to put less points into Gatecrasher and still get the same results. So honestly, this is not that bad. I think this is ideally what you would want to run for your battering ram deck. You could obviously adjust the points if you want to take a point out of heavy metal, put into Gatecrasher, or Vanguard. You can, but I think the 600 HP is going to be very good just this patch. All right, Fortress Breaker. Obviously, Fortress Breaker, you're gonna want Siege Engine at 4 or 5 points. Honestly, I like 5 just for the consistency and make sure you always have it up. You should put 4 points in Ramparts. Battlement, you're gonna want a few points in HP and I think Lifesteal. Maybe not Lifesteal. Lifesteal's the best card here, right? I'm not wrong. Lifesteal does seem like it's the best card in this option. So yeah, you can go for something like this. You can also, if you don't want to run the Lifesteal and you want to run something else, you can look for points in percussion, extra points in ammo. It's all fine, but I honestly like the lifesteal. Lifesteal's not bad. It's sustain. You're gonna be behind your shield a lot, so you'll get uncaughted. So I think it's just a little way to keep yourself up. This build will pretty much give you that instant reset that you're looking for with your right click and your shield, and I think this is the preferred way to play Ash on point. Next, we're going to be looking at for Slug Shot. Slug Shot, I think you should be running 5 points in Indomitable, 100%. You want to get as much lifesteal as you can. Heavy Metal, run that at 4 points. Percussion, I think you should run at a higher rank just because you're not going to be your peel for yourself is not nearly as good as it was with battering ram. You could just DR yourself, and people had to like sit there and take the 800 damage or wait for you to get out of the animation. You can't really do that on this build, so I think you want percussion at like 2 or 3 points. I'm gonna put it at 2 here. Um, I do like to be tankier. I've honestly thought about a build where you'd run ramparts at like 4 points just to get your shield off higher, but I think for now you should run Vanguard just for the time being. I just think it makes you a little bit tankier. Um, when you are running slug and you are engaging, looking for your ult, you are dashing in at times. So I think the 24%, it's nice. I think it's gonna synergize well with your HP, and it'll just help you get in more for those engages. I think it's a good card. We're gonna go Fervor for our last card, just get the extra ammo in there. And that's going to be our Slugshot deck, and that's going to be Ash. Next, we'll be moving on to Atlas. Atlas got a few. He actually got a lot of nerfs. This patch, I think you're going to want distant memory. You're going to want health still. Hell Hunter's still a good one pointer. I really, 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 really like Phantom Pain, no matter what legendary you're going. Let's say for this instance, this is Big Wall. You're going to want the move speed, obviously, for your teammates still. Distant Memory is the best survivability card now, I believe. I think it's just better for Lost Legacy on this patch, especially when you're running Big Wall. You're gonna want Phantom Pain at like 5 points. I don't know how to get. I honestly do not know how to get move speed in here. You'd have to run that at less and that at 14. So I don't even know if move speed's worth. Is move speed even worth? I have no clue. So I have no clue what you want to do now. Maybe run this at 2 points. If you want distant memory at a high value, you have to give a bomb beyond the veil. Let's try it. We're gonna make 2 decks. We're gonna make one with Beyond the Veil at 5 points, or maybe 4. Just leave it at 4, just so we have more points to work with. Okay, so we're gonna try this build where we have Beyond the Veil at 4 points, Phantom Pain. We obviously, I think a lot of my decks on Atlas are gonna be revolving around this card, just so we get our shield back. Deja Vu. We're actually gonna make one more for Big Wall really fast. This is something that I'm gonna do anyways when I'm not recording videos, but might as well just do it here. Just gonna be making pretty much the same exact build, just not Beyond the Veil. We're gonna put Continuum Shift. I think Continuum Shift was a good card last patch, and it's pretty good this patch considering the second chance rewind time got reduced from 5 seconds to 4 seconds. So this just gives you a little bit of it back. Of course, I actually did run that card before, so this is gonna be another deck that you can run. I think this is for Big Wall mostly. I think when you're running Deja Vu or the other talent, the talent's not good enough. That's why I don't remember the name. I think you're going to want to run Lost Legacy at a higher value just because it synergizes really well with Phantom Pain. Phantom Pain, Lost Legacy, pretty much always you're going to get that extra healing every single time you put up your shield. So I suggest you running this at 3-4 points. I think that's fine. I like having extra points in Continuum Shift, or not Continuum Shift, excuse me. I like having extra points in Distant Memory because I think it's a good card on this patch, so I'm going to put it at 2 points, and I'll put the rest into HP. So this will get you a pretty sustaining deck. You'll have heals every time you put your shield up. You'll have your shield up pretty much every 8 seconds if you run Deja Vu. Your right click's pretty easy to secure. Hits on. Distant Memory will just give you that extra little bit of healing to help you keep topped off. That's going to be it for all the Atlas decks so far. I'm just gonna try and keep this like pretty simple. I don't want to ramble forever and maybe make this video like 30 minutes long. It's been 8 minutes. I've only covered 2 tanks, so I would like to hurry up and get going with this. I'm just gonna go ahead and delete all my decks on the previous ones. All right, so this one's kind of interesting. I think Barik has the most. Like, he has a lot of new cards, so he has a lot of stuff that you can play with. First, I think this double time card has a lot of value. I think double time 5, failsafe 3, that can make a really good deck. Healing Station doesn't seem that bad either. Field Deploy, I guess, is just pretty good. Field Deploy gives you a lot of healing for each of your turret shots. I don't even think you need to run Healing Station. I'm not sure. I don't know if this is better than Healing Station. I don't know. For the time being, let's try this Field Deploy deck. I'm going to put this at 3 points and this at... Oh, maybe I want this at 4 points. So 60 health per shot. That's not bad. That's a little bit of sustain, more heals on your boots, extra shielding. So this could be this honestly could be ran with Fortify or Tinkering. I don't know if Tinkering is really going to be ran that much. I don't know. Fortify is honestly looking like the best talent for him. I had to do a little bit more testing with Architectonics, but let me know what you guys think for this. I think this one has the most open-ended, ideology. Like you can go with so many different builds, but I do think Failsafe is still really good. Okay, let's go for a more like turrety kind of playstyle. I don't even know if you're going to need Forged Alloy in this build. Let's see, we could just put this at 4 points, put this at 3 points, and this at 4 points. So now you got another pretty tanky build. You have Healing Station, you have Field Deploy, you have Brave and Bold, you have Bowling Ball. If you do want to play with turrets, I suggest you do put Combat Repair in your decks. I think Combat Repair is a pretty good card. It'll just keep your turrets up a little bit longer, and honestly, if they don't have cauterize, like which most people are, but if they don't, your turrets are gonna live forever. So I think that's a decent deck. We're just gonna make one more for Barik. One more. What was the one? I had one really good deck on PTS that I really liked, and it had something to do with one man scrap. I don't know if one man scrap's actually that good anymore because of the nerf. But Palace, see if we can get that down to a 2-second cooldown, and then we can go bowling ball, double time. Let's go for something like this. Let's go 3 here. Okay, so this is a lot of healing. I don't even know if this is worth. This is what you want. Forged alloy. Let's see, let me just take a gander at these decks. I'm sorry. So this is a lot of turret ones. This was kind of around the boots, and you can run fortify with either of those. Let's go. Let's see what's turret each 3 seconds. So this becomes. So this becomes a 9-second cooldown already, and then you can get 5 points into this and make it a 7-second cooldown. Which is I'm not entirely sure you want that, but let's just try putting it 4 points. Put 3 points here. Get some healing station, brave and bold, and I guess you have to choose between bowling ball and double time. Kind of depends on which one you want. I like double time a little bit more. I think the value on it's good. I think you could run it at 4 points, 3 points, and it'll get value. Because it's 240 every 1 second for 4 seconds. So if you get this, it's 400 every 1 second for 4 seconds. That's an incredibly good card. I'm not gonna lie. That's insanely good. Let's try running. Let's run this. This isn't bad. This is a good sustain, good healing station, palisade for fortify. It's just what we're gonna look for on Barik. I think Barik. There's a lot of open-ended stuff that you can do with him. We'll just move on to Fernando now. I've already made a few decks on him. Let me just take you through them really fast. This one is a flank nano build that I've been trying to get recorded for you guys. I've recorded 3 games and they were all terrible. They were all like really fast or short 4-0s. So hot pursuit, of course, it's pretty standard. It's gonna look to get you in as fast as you can. You have hot pursuit, you have running start to both get that movement speed up. This build, you're gonna have hot pursuit pretty much every single time you incinerate, which is really good. I think it's worth running. Movable objects like these, like I said, you're gonna notice this trend on all of these tanks where movable objects is just really good. It's like this kind of rejuve card is just insanely good with the cot changes. These percent cards are just really valuable now. So we're going to run that at 3 points. Another one you can do is looking at this shield build. Having Towering Barrier at 4 or 5 points is really good. It puts your shield at like an 8-second, 7-second cooldown. And it's 5,500 HP. I think it's worth running. I think it can make you a really good point tank. It can make you a pretty decent off-tank build. I have to do more testing with it. Like I said, a lot of this stuff is all theory crafted. Running start is your next other move speed. It's just nice. Heat transfer should let you know get your cooldown of your dash up as soon as possible. With towering barrier and heat transfer, they can kind of synergize well together. You'll have more shields, more dashes, more opportunities to get cooldown off of it. Next, we're going to be looking at one that's pretty much close to the same thing. It has looks that kill at 1 rather than heat transfer. It's just another deck that I've been thinking about doing. I don't know if looks that kill is really good at 5 points. It's only 3 seconds. That's a lot of point investment, so I'm not actually sure. I wanted to run it as a 1-pointer to see how it feels. This way you have, max. It's pretty much the same build. It's just 1 less point heat transfer, 1 extra point towering barrier, and trade off looks like kill. We're going to go ahead and delete this deck. We're going to make one more. Another one that I've been wanting to try is Brand. Brand with like Incinerate 3 at 3 points. Go movable objects, get launch in there, and maybe towering barrier. Maybe heat transfer, more cooldown. That's probably better. Heat transfer did get a slight nerf just because the ratio conversion did not stay the same. Obviously, it used to be 1,000 out of 8,000, but now it's 1,000 for 5,500. So obviously, it's a little bit weaker of a card, but I still think it gets good value. And we can go ahead and probably put this at 3 points, 2 points there. I like this. I like this a little bit better. Okay, so you get 5.5 seconds off your dash, which is not bad. But the main part of this build is definitely the brand. You want to be able to heal off of your fireballs. It procs multiple times. It procs off turrets. It procs off walls. It procs off yin clones, like Inara walls. Excuse me, not off actual walls. So excuse me, don't get that wrong, please. But yeah, it's a fun build that I want to try as well. And brand does get more value since cauterize is nerfed, like I said. We're gonna be on to the next tank. Going to be looking at Inara really fast. Inara's decks honestly do not change that much. If you want to do a fun Tremors build, you can. I personally do not think Tremors is going to be good other than for the meme of it. So I think most of your Inara decks are going to stay the same, unfortunately. You're just going to look for Geomancer, Stone Bulwark, Steadfast. All your good normal cards. Put Insurmountable in there just for those people that say Insurmountable is better than Sheer, which it is. I had Sheer in there for some reason. So most of your decks are going to stay the same. If you want to run Cripple, sorry, I should cover that really fast. If you want to run Cripple, you could run Standing Stones at a higher level and Stone Bulwark and Steadfast at a lower level. I do think Geomancer is still important, but you can do stuff like that. And I think it's actually pretty decent. I think this card got a buff too, Lodestone. So you can run Lodestone if you want that 2 extra HP. This card's actually better than Insurmountable. But if you want to run a Cripple deck, you can run something like that. And of course, you have your Summit decks. They're all pretty standard and they haven't changed that much. So I don't want to spend too much time on Inara. I want to go to the next few decks. Next deck we got is Khan. I'm just going to go ahead and delete these ones because they're pretty much all the same. The 2 decks that I really have to try is I have to try a Leon's Shield one. Running Ready for War at 4 points. Hope Guard at 4 points. We want some HP. I don't know if Shield Wall is really that great. It's 1,000 HP on your shield. I think there's just better cards that you can be running. Shao Move Speed's pretty nice. Even points in Never Surrender is not bad. So we're going to go ahead and load up. We're going to put 4 points in that, maybe there. Put that there. Get 3 points in Hope Guard and Into the Breach. So we have 2 good modifiers for our abilities. We got extra healing, we got move speed, and we got decent amount of health and recharge rate. And that's going to be for a Leon Shield build. This one is for Storm of Bullets. I really don't know how great this is. This is also another video that I want to record eventually and get out to you guys, is a Storm of Bullets con video. Just to see where it sits at, if it's still good, if you can still pick it, if the damage nerf is too much. So this is just kind of a build. I think you can get away with running excessive force at 4 points if you want to put another point in health or something else. But the extra ammo might be useful to you. It's all kind of preference there. And of course, close and personal, it's a Vortex Grip con. This doesn't change much. Maybe you want to run less points in Never Surrender, since that did get nerfed pretty hard. You can run more points in Hulking Commander. You can run more points. You can actually drop Never Surrender. Never Surrender is like a pretty terrible card now. And you get a Hope Card and put Hope Card in your deck as well. So you can become a really beefy stun con. So that's going to be con builds for you. And next we're going to move on to Makoa. Makoa got some changes. First off, Half Shell, it's only 2,500 per 5 seconds. Excuse me, I was trying to figure out what I want to say there. Carapace is only 200, so you can only get this up to 1,000. So that means your shield's only at 4,475, I think. 750, something around there. Yeah, they have such a weird number for this shield. 3,750. I think that's the same as Barik's, but yeah. So Carapace is really not going to get anything. I think you can run Half Shell if you want that extra shielding. I really don't know how great it's going to be, just because the Barrier Reef doesn't give you the full reset anymore. I would run more points in Determination though. This is something you can run for Half Shell, even though I don't suggest it. I think the shield nerf hurts Koa pretty badly, or at least Half Shell Koa, that wise. Otherwise, I think normally the Koa decks honestly stay pretty close to the same. You're going to want Salvage as a good 1-pointer. Determination, really good card, like I said. Ebb and Flow and Rampage got a little bit of a nerf. It's still 4 seconds for an Elim, so that's still kind of mind-boggling that this card's values are still better than everyone else's. So yeah, you can run this at 3 points, 4 points here, 4 points here. Run 4 points in Determination if you want. I like running 3. I might actually drop Ebb and Flow down just because I want Salvage. I want Salvage, and then if you want less Surf, I think which you kind of do on this patch. You're gonna want more Determination than Surf. I think you can. The thing is, dude, I'm so heartbroken between Salvage. Like, do you want the extra ammo now that you have 5 shots instead of 4? Is the ammo worth it? Do you need to be shooting more? I don't know. I'm gonna try 1. I'm gonna make 2 decks actually. I'm just gonna literally make the same deck, just 1 point less in Surf. Just have an extra point in Salvage. So those are 2 decks. These are gonna be mostly Levy or I guess mostly Levy. I guess if you are going to run Pluck, which I'm not sure if it's going to be meta, you're going to want Strong Arm, obviously. Just get that hook seeded down, put it at 4 points, get Salvage in there, you can give up some Rampage if you want. I honestly would rather have Ebb and Flow and Determination than Rampage in this patch. just because I feel like the tank play is going to be slowed down a little bit, but I don't know. Rampage might be insane still. But I would definitely look to run Surf at 3 or 4. Those are good points. And then you could put the rest in Determination, and you could get a pretty decent deck going. Strong Arm just gets that cooldown back down to decent timing, and instead of 15 seconds, it'll be 13 seconds. So it'll just help out a little bit if you are, wanting to hook more and have less of that sustaining survivability cards in your deck. Next, we're going to be looking at Raum. Raum, I'm legit not going to be changing any of my cards in his deck. I think you're still going to want Hellish Lodestones at 5. I still think you're going to want Void Lord at 5 or 4, depending on what you want to run it at. I think that none of this really changes, and you're still going to want Harbinger at 3 or 4 points, like I said. I think Ron decks are pretty boring. I think they're also going to be staying the same. His changes really didn't change any of his cards. It was more so, just damage reduction nerfed. So we're going to have to see how he feels. I would run those same decks, though. I don't think there's much variation in that. Ruckus. Ruckus is the interesting one. I went ahead and cleared his decks. Crystal Capacitor, you're going to want that at 5 points, I believe. So one test that I've been wanting to try out a lot is one with double DR. Double DR meaning that there's going to be 2 damage reduction cards in this deck. And I think this is not bad just because it'll make you really tanky. I don't know how, and I'm pretty sure the damage reduction doesn't get affected by diminishing returns, meaning if you run it 5 points, you'll actually get 30% DR. But we don't actually have enough points for that, so we're going to run 4 in Metal March just because our missiles have a longer CD than our dashes, so we're going to play off proximity's damage reduction a little more than Metal March. We're just going to run it at 4 points here. The sad part about this deck is that you cannot get more than Fuel Reserves 1, which is kind of an issue. That was my issue with this deck, is that you are going to have no fuel reserves. So we're going to go ahead and make another one. I'm sorry, I'm kind of losing my voice after talking this much. We're going to make the same exact one, maybe trade out Metal March for something else. Like I said, you don't have to run it, but I do think you want to run Crystal Capacitator. These decks are also aimed towards aerial assault, but even though since missiles are in deck, you want to be having that missile cooldown as short as possible. This deck, we're going to put 5 points of proximity like we did last time, 2 points of fuel reserves. I really think even though you're running aerial, you don't need to put that many points of fuel reserves. I think 2-3 points is all you really need, and the rest you can put in HP. So we're gonna run 2 here and 3 here. So this is a pretty standard deck. You don't actually take 1 out of Dampener if you want extra missiles. It's all preference. I just think that the extra HP is worth it, even though I kind of want to run 5 points of Crystal Capacitor. So that'll give us 3.5 seconds, and then that makes our missile launcher a 6.5 second CD, which is still longer than Advance, which is why I think Proximity is good, and why I chose Metal March over it. And last, we're just going to make a quick one for... Actually, we're going to make 2 more, because I know some people do think that Flux Emitter actually might have its chances in this game. Let's say we're going Rocket Barrage. We're going to have less dashes, so we're going to put Metal March at 5 points again. We're going to put fuel reserves at 1 or 2 just to keep that mobility going. And I think honestly, this last point's a 1-up. You can do really anything you want with it. You can put Opulence in it if you want. That extra healing might be nice for you. I think that's probably the best 1-pointer. Honestly, the best 1-pointer is either that or Refraction. So pick your poison there. You could also get rid of Dampener for Opulence, but I think the HP synergizes better with the damage reduction than the healing does. So we're going to go with that. And one last build. We're going to do one last build. This one's going to be just full damage reduction on missiles, and we're going to try and get as much cooldown as we can on Refraction, because we're going to go for our emitter build. Emitter build, obviously you want Refraction at high level. Nanotechnology, obviously not that great of a card, because your personal shield does not prevent cauterize, meaning you're going to be cauterized the entire time this card is working, which is why it is not good. Do not run this card, I beg you. It's very bad. I think you should be running Metal March and Fuel Reserves again. You can run Warden at 1 or 2 points. I think that's where you want to be sitting at. 2 points of Fuel Reserves, 2 points in Dampener. It is a decent looking deck. Maybe if you want, you could drop a point in Warden if you think you're comfortable with 4.5 seconds for your shield. I think it's a little nice to have this at 2 seconds just so you have a longer shield. You can just sit there for longer. I don't know if it's completely necessary, because your shield's only going to be 3,000? Yeah, I'm actually not going to do that. That's literally 500 extra HP than the emitter on last patch. So we're going to go ahead and put Refraction at 5 points. So that's fine. This is going to be our Ruckus decks. Next, we're going to be going with Terminus honestly did not change that much. I was sorry. I was building a deck and then the queue popped, and that's why this is half done. Term didn't change that much. If anything, we can rebuild him. Like I said, getting better. So we're going to be putting this at 3 points. This is my Decimation deck. Abomination is the big change for Term here. It's literally a busted card that gives you all your Siphon back. So that's what we're going to be running here. Necromantic Might, of course, it's a necessary one. You want to be building those charges. So that's pretty standard of a deck. I think you're going to run this at higher if you want, or Devastation at higher, all depending on what you want. But I think we can rebuild them is good if you're going to be playing off your support. You could do another fun build with Crush. I know that they did a card where it is... Where's that? Oh yeah, reduces Shadowfall by 0.3 seconds for every 1 second you spent channeling Power Siphon. So let's put this at 4 points. We can put Necromantic Might at 4 points. The reason why you want Necromantic Might is so you can get Abomination in your deck. If you get Abomination in your deck, you can start getting your charges faster. And then once you have those charges, you'll get your Siphon back, which means you can have your Siphon up longer, which means you can get your Shadowfall up more, which means you get more DR, more stuns, and it's a fun little build. You get 16% DR for 2 seconds. You can obviously change these values if you want. You could put 1 point less in Abomination if you think that your Siphon management is fine. My biggest issue when I was trying this deck is that I was running out of Siphon by the time my Shadowfall was coming back up. But you can do a fun build like that I want to try. That's something I definitely want to make a video on. I think that's going to be it for turn builds, honestly. Those are the 2 that I'm looking at. I might just make one more just for the heck of it, but honestly, there's not too much variation in them. Like, if you want to do a fun build with Strength of Stones, you can. I don't know how necessary it is, but, you know, it's weird with these Decimation builds when you want to be using those charges. You could maybe look for an Undying build with this. You maybe put 1 point less in Abomination, an extra point, and we can rebuild them. This is less about, you know, shooting those charges and more about, you know, being super tanky and always having your Siphon up. So getting a little bit of a mix of that. So that's something you can play around with. But those are the decks for term that I would like to try. And Torvald. Interestingly enough, there's one deck that I've actually been wanting to try. I think it's the only deck that I'm going to be making for him. So I could wrap this up. We're at 27 minutes. Jesus. You're going to want Wind Dancer at 5 points, of course. Wind Dancer, good card. Glyph of Health as a 1-pointer. Let me just get this deck sorted out. Glyph of Freedom is obviously going to be really good. I like it a lot, and I want to try it. 75 shield after using protection. That's not bad. It's not great either. 75 after reactivating. So I think this is going to be the best it's going to get. The ammo card might have some use for you guys if you want to run this ammo. If you're going to go for a full pocket build, you can. I would run Glyph of Freedom at 3 or 4 points. I really don't know how much this is actually going to be proccing because you want to run 5 points in Life Giver and 5 points in Wind Dancer. The reason why I don't know how much this is going to be proccing because it all depends on how fast your target is fragging. This patch, he lost, you know, field study is only 10%. It's not that much. You do guarantee yourself in a limb by healing the person, but before you were pretty much shooting the person that your pocket was killing anyways. So most of the time you did get a limb, which is why I ran that card already. But I think this patch you're going to be wanting to run Thanks Grandpa so you get extra mitigation. This will synergize well with Life Giver since you'll have 1500 shield plus that 375 healing, which is really nice. The reason why, like I said, why I don't think Glyph of Freedom might be as crazy as you guys think is that, you know, you were already getting those limbs. It won't matter that much. There's also a slight chance that Torvald's role is not, you know, the pocket's not always going to be being able to get a frag. Like, the pocket might struggle to deal with kills since they don't have the extra damage, and this might just be a waste of points. But honestly, Torvald does not have any good cards that look appealing, so honestly, just run it anyways. But thanks for watching this video, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed me going through all the decks that I want to try out on tanks. I hope this was you guys learned something from me just rambling about decks on the new patch. Let me know what you guys think, what you guys want to try, what you guys are interested in, what you guys want to see. I would love to hear from you guys. Let me know down in the comments below, and I'll see you guys next time.